set out 2014 with a bang. They're back in their BDUs. Please get on your feet and make it loud for your Pittsburgh Penguins.
It's almost time to say goodbye to 2014. You could call it the year of the injury, with the Penguins losing 437 man games to injury during the calendar year. Happy and healthy New Year, everybody. And Bob Errey, it's nice to talk about a couple of guys coming back into the lineup here tonight.
Yeah, it is. First of all, Beau Bennett. He's the first overall first pick for the Penguins back in 2010, 20th overall. He picked up 3 points in Montreal November 18th, but he's only played 7 games in 54 in his career. He's got to stay healthy. Christian Ehrhoff has missed the last 5 games for the Penguins. What does he bring? Game-winning goals, 2 of those this year, a plus 15 and 22 minutes a game with his experience. Ehrhoff back in the lineup.
We were expecting to see Jordan Staal in the lineup tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes. It would have been his second game after missing 35, recovering from a broken leg. But this happened in his return game against Montreal the other night.
Yeah, ironically, P.K. Subban fell on his leg, the same leg he broke. It was Subban who cut him with his skate years ago when he's a member of the Penguins. Without Jordan Staal in this one, they do have the brother Eric.
All right, let's go down on the ice. It's the final game of 2014, Pens and Hurricanes.
Please rise, remove your hats, and direct your attention to the flag above the scoreboard. At this time, please welcome back the Penguins' own Mr. Jeff Jimerson, as together with one voice, we all sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what
That's a welcome sight. Beau Bennett back on the ice tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And let's take a look at our Rivers Casino tips to win, Bob.
Well, he's one of the keys. Ehrhoff, Bennett, getting some healthy bodies back. Eric Staal. Well, he's the only healthy Staal tonight, and he's always tough against the Penguins. And Mike Johnson said they only had about half the guys really contributing in the last hockey game. Can't afford that. You need all 20 going in this one.
Penguins have lost 4 in a row, and this guy's looking for his first win in 5 starts. Marc-Andre Fleury. And Cam Ward was part of a winning combination for the Canes back on November 28th when they beat the Penguins 4-2. Mike Johnston said after the game in New Jersey, we didn't have everybody pulling on the rope. We need everybody doing that. We need a better effort, and that's what the Penguins look to do here tonight in the final game of the year. Eric Staal will take the draw against Brandon Sutter, the former Cane. And Ehrhoff with a puck sends it right up the middle. He was trying to go to Beau Bennett, but the Canes end up with control. And now puck is turned off the wall by Staal and right to the Penguin defense. Chris Letang with it there. Over to Ehrhoff and onto the right wing now to Beau Bennett. Bennett with a shot and a save by Cam Ward. And no further play.
Oh, I love Ehrhoff. Right away, you see what he does in the opening minutes of the game. That composure on that blue line, over 700 games. Puck comes back. Watch Ehrhoff. He's going to look to the left wing and then go right up the middle with that puck. The Penguins, if they track that down, they have a 2-on-1. It just didn't materialize against Sekera, but a good look for Ehrhoff.
Now Sidney Crosby flanked by Evgeny Malkin and Brian Rust. So Malkin playing left wing again tonight, but with Sidney Crosby. So the two-headed monster is a line combination here tonight. And there is Malkin moving it up the right wing to Rust. Crosby wanted that puck quicker. He didn't get it, and the puck comes to the net and is frozen there by Cam Ward. Ryan Rust has to get used to the speed of Crosby and realize how quickly he needs that puck. There's Bill Peters, the coach of the Canes. The Canes are a team that defends well. They check, they're competitive. They're in every game, but they can't score. They have the second lowest scoring total in the NHL. They've had 17 games where they've scored 1 goal or fewer. Now Letang with a puck. To Gino. To Crosby. Ehrhoff. Checked by Lindholm. Crosby over. Moves it to Letang. He's able to just keep it in front. Try to set up a redirect for Ehrhoff, who steered it wide. Now the Canes start out. It is Yuri Tlusty with it. Tlusty over the line. Stahl peels away to go to the bench. Puck off the near wall. Back to the corner. Tlusty stripped to the puck by Letang. Letang and Ehrhoff paired up. And the Penguins work it back to center.
Talked about goal scoring or lack of it for the Canes. Tlusty leads them with 10 goals. He's been out with injury. Back in the lineup tonight. They're going to need him.
Here's Dupre with it now on the left side. Into the Canes zone to the right wing. Shot by Spalling is blocked. He got his own rebound and tried to center. It was taken by Jeff Skinner, who moves it around behind for Ryan Murphy. Just recalled from the Charlotte Checkers, a first-round pick of the Canes. Long shot from the wing by Skinner. Stopped and the rebound fired wide. Now held in at the point by Mikhail Jordan. But the Penguins go the other way, and it's Adams. He tried to get it to the net. Taken away by Chris Terry. He'll come to center. And the puck is dumped in by Riley Nash. Hard around, but right to Rob Scuderi as the Canes were changing. Scuderi to Bortuzzo. Penguins come to center. Bobby Farnham trying to get in on the puck. Farnham in the corner. Steps out. Shoots it off the side of the net. Gets his own rebound. Jay McClement watching him as he moves it back for Justin Falk. Jason Megna on Falk. Bobby Farnham got knocked down. Gets himself back up. Now gets in on the puck. Megna though with it. Megna skates it up high and throws it back down low to the corner. Robert Bortuzzo pinching down, went to play it. Farnham covers for Bortuzzo and dumps it behind the net. Megna there, turning away from McClement, centering. Ebbets' shot was blocked, and the Canes get control. Fourth line doing a good job of getting the puck into the offensive zone.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job all the way around. Bobby Farnham covering for a pinching defenseman, getting on the puck very quickly. Just not a great one-timer by Ebbett, but they had all the principles for that shift to work.
Bortuzzo threw it into the middle, but right on the tape of Nathan Gerby. And his shot was blocked. Patrick Dwyer over. He took a hit down there in the corner. And the Penguins, Bo Bennett takes the outlet pass. Kunitz moves it to the right wing. Carried in by Brandon Sutter. Sutter and Bennett have good chemistry together. Interesting to see Kunitz playing the left wing on this line now that Malkin's been moved up to play with Sidney Crosby on the left wing.
And normally you got Kunitz either with Crosby or Malkin. So a different look for Kunitz right now. It seems that everybody who plays with Sutter produces. We'll see what happens.
Bo Bennett carries the puck into the attacking zone. Lost control of it, but it's dumped deep. And back to get it goes Ron Hainsey. Bennett on the puck again, drops it back. Dumped to the near side, to the corner by Letang, and in after it is Malkin, but the Canes get it past him to Stahl, and his pass for Tlusty goes past his stick into the Penguin zone, and that's an icing call against Carolina.
Well, it might be a low scoring affair here tonight. Both teams struggling to score goals, and the Canes, look where they're at, 1.97 goals per game they've scored, and they've given up 2.64 this year, and you see that trend not good for Carolina in terms of their goal scoring. And that was Rod Brindamore we got a quick glimpse of on the bench. Great two-way player for the Canes amongst the Flyers as well.
Shot by Ehrhoff. That heavy shot went wide off the end boards all the way out to Letang at center. Now the bouncing puck is handled by Sidney Crosby. To the right wing and Rust. Ryan Rust looking for his first goal in 6 games down the wing. Scored his second game of the season for him, and now a penalty coming up against Carolina.
Well, Eric Stahl was draped all over Crosby, and Crosby was like an animal trying to get out of a trap. Take a look at this, Staggy. Stahl, there's the trap, and there is Sidney Crosby working his way out of that trap. Stahl's going to go off for interference. He didn't like the call.
Really? I guess that's what you kind of get away with a lot, but once you end up between the guy's legs, hanging onto one of his legs, it's a little bit different situation. But either way, his assignment tonight will be to do whatever he can to slow down Sidney Crosby, including maybe interfere with him at times and get away with it. He didn't get away with it that time, and the Canes dump the puck back into the Penguin zone. A UPMC Sports Medicine power play. And boy, would the Penguins love to get a power play goal. Their record when they score on the power play is very good. When they don't, it's okay.
First two breakouts here, Letang and Malkin carrying the puck, trying to make the plays. The Penguins have been shoved back. And this time, Pouliot trying to work the puck in deep. So their entries were good last game, not so good so far here.
And Nash comes back shorthanded, cuts it in the middle and shoots it over the goal. Boy, he got away from Chris Kunitz there and then missed the net on a great scoring opportunity.
Yeah, it went off Kunitz's stick. Kunitz got the stick back just in the nick of time there, as Nash got a good opportunity turning it to the forehand.
What Kunitz did is eventually defend against him on that. That's a good recovery for Kunitz to prevent the shot on goal. And now here's Bennett with it. Bo Bennett on the power play, ahead to Spalling, second unit on. Spalling down the wing. It's Patrick Dwyer who took him hard to the boards. Falk gets in there to try to play it, as well as Sutter. And there's Bennett coming in there to get the loose puck and move it to the point. Ehrhoff tees it up and fires just wide of the goal. Can he shoot it? And you saw on a recent edition of In the Room, Mike Johnston talking to Ehrhoff about really transferring his weight and leaning into those shots. And there's a good example there of how he can shoot it. Out of the right wing, Brandon Sutter down the wing. Sutter centers it. Back up top it goes. And here's Ehrhoff again. Dishes it off near side to Spalling. Turning shot by Bennett, just missed the net. And the Canes end up with control, and they're able to dump it down. So a couple of pretty good looks there for the second power play unit of the Penguins. Down to 6 seconds on the penalty to Stahl. There's Ehrhoff coming to center to shoot it long on Cam Ward. Big rebound, and it comes right to Adams. A shot and a save made by Ward on Greg Adams.
His former teammate. They won a Stanley Cup together, and Ward caused his own problem with it. A big rebound from center, a center ice shot from Ehrhoff.
Here comes Stahl out of the penalty box. Stahl shoots it, and a save by Fleury. And the rebound right to Rovsky area. Cooley moved it along. And now Bortuzzo takes the outlet pass. He leads the charge into the zone, drops it off to Farnham, whose shot was blocked by Ryan Murphy. Jordan moved it out to center, where the puck eventually found its way into the Penguin zone. Scuderi sent it up the wall, but the Canes end up with it. To the near side, and Hainsey, who steers it down to the corner. Canes continue to control, but Crosby cleans up his own zone. Ahead to Rust. If I had one comment about Brian Rust's play with these guys, you're going to have to move the puck quicker. Here's Skinner with it now. He shoots it wide of the goal. And that's a big adjustment for a young guy to get in there and play with two world-class hockey players, Crosby and Malkin. Rust was hit on the near boards. Both players went down as he was hit by Sekera. Lusty dumps the puck right to the goal, and Crosby moves it over. Fleury does rather, up for Crosby, and Crosby was beaten to the puck there by Sekera, but stepping in now is Ehrhoff. He tries to skate it out, now try to whack it out of the zone, and it stays in. And this is Lindholm, but Ehrhoff strips him of the puck. Crosby's checking his face as he goes to the bench. And Falk dumps the puck into the corner. Letang back to play it. Left it there for Sutter. And tenacious forecheck here by the Canes. Letang. Sutter leaning in as he comes over the line, and he shoots it right on, and Ward freezes.
A little sloppy here right now. Speed is there, the effort, and this long shot by Ehrhoff kicked right back to the slot, and Adams with a chance to put the Penguins up.
2014, take a look at some of the successful aspects of it for the Penguins. Sidney Crosby, third in the NHL with 83 points. Marc-Andre Fleury, 36 wins, were tied for second in the National Hockey League. The Penguins, third in the NHL in winning percentage. pretty darn good year for Pittsburgh when you consider all the injuries. As I said, here's the number again in case you missed it. 437 man games lost to injury in the calendar year, including 119 in the month of December. 2015 can't come soon enough for a lot of guys. Here's Bo Bennett down the wing. Bennett holds it. Found Letang moving in, who reaches back and winds it back around for Bo Bennett. Into the slot for Kunitz. Kunitz's shot is blocked by Sekera. Sutter goes after it. Bennett goes to the front of the net. Sutter hangs onto the puck. Kunitz wanted it, but Sutter will send it deep again. And right there is Sekera. And he just moves it ahead, and the Canes come to center. Palusti goes to the net. Centering pass. Stahl, a shot, he scores. Fleury wasn't sure where the puck was there. He was moving in the paint. I'm not quite sure why, Bob, but he was moving as that puck was shot by Stahl, and it went into it looked like an empty net practically.
Well, the puck came from the board, so he had to move one way, and Stahl was moving the other way. So it was kind of the yin and the yang of the pass and of the movement. There's the pass. He's looking through bodies. He has to scramble back to his left. He can't get there in time. And just like Jaromir Jagr scored, moving in that fashion from his left to his right in New Jersey, Eric Stahl does the same thing here, moving from his left to his right. Instead, he goes to the glove side low. Fleury can't get back after following that pass, Staggy. So it was a good pass. It was a good shot by Stahl, who's had a couple of good opportunities. And for a guy that was struggling, Eric Stahl scored in his last 2 games.
And the Canes have now scored first in 13 of the last 19 games here. And they have had success at getting the first goal in Pittsburgh. Back to get it goes to Prey. Over to Scuderi. And up the boards now for Malkin. It goes between his skates. And Sekera takes it. I talked to Sekera today. I said, well, we call you Sekera, we call you Sekera. He said, you can call me whatever you want. I said, how do you pronounce it in your house? He said, Sekera. So we'll go with that. Here's Megna down the right wing into the Canes zone, and it's stripped away for a moment. Up for grabs now on the near wall, and back in behind the net, Bellemore takes it. Dumped in now by Hainsey. Fleury out of the net will stop it. Evan dumps it in. Hainsey back to get it. Dishes it up the wall. Good break out there for the Canes. They quickly come to center. Good support too as Skinner takes the pass from Bellemore. Dumps it into the corner. Derek Pouliot there to get it for Pittsburgh. Pouliot passed it to Gotch. His lead pass off the tape of Megna, and he'll go into the bench, and Penguins make a full change as the Canes come to center. Zach Boychuk, who played for a while with the Penguins, was hit hard there on the near wall. Now Penguins will start from their own zone, and Scuderi moves it ahead. Gotch dumped it into the corner. Back to get it, Ryan Murphy. Boychuk feeds it up the wall. Penguins go the other way. Adams dumps it in. Spalling in on the forecheck. Dan Moore moves it over though. Out come the Canes. They've been coming out of their own zone pretty quickly, Bob.
Well, they have. In this shift, Adams got a few good bangs in, but the Penguins are making a change. The Canes get out of the zone, and we'll see if they try to rest on that 1-0 advantage, or if they keep pressuring the Penguins here. We saw the Devils be very aggressive when they held the lead in the third period against Pittsburgh, and I expect the same from the Canes here. I don't think they're going to sit back this early in the game.
Sutter with it now. Sends it back to the point to Dupre. He distributes it right back in behind the net. Falk right there to get it. Send it up the wall. Those quick touch passes they're making are getting them out of the zone quickly. And now Palusti against Bortuzzo, who cut him off. And then he dropped it back, and a good shot and a better save by Fleury on Elias Lindholm. And now Sutter takes it the other way. Pulls up. Look for Dupre jumping in, but Eric Stahl got back to clear it. The Canes will not lie down. They're just not that kind of a team. Even though their record is where it is, they're in a lot of games, and they're going to make it tough all night for the Penguins. Here's Gerby with it down the wing. He shoots it. Fleury the save. The rebound is controlled by Ehrhoff. Nice pass ahead of Malkin. Malkin with the puck wander off his stick, and he goes to get it, but it's going to be offside on Pittsburgh. 1-0 Carolina with 7:26 to go in the first period.
Well, Brandon, let's talk about your line mates in this hockey game. You have chemistry with one of them, Bo Bennett. We saw that in Montreal, and you got Kunitz on your left side. Have you ever seen him before?
Not really, no. Not for course of a game. So definitely a bit of a new look there. But like I said, I had a chance to play with Bo quite a bit over the last 2 years. And just happy he's back and feeling good. So hopefully we get something going here.
Now your health, you missed a couple of games, weren't feeling that well. You have the strength right now, and do you still get the same feelings playing against the old team tonight?
I know I feel good. Yeah, I definitely had a couple of days where I wasn't feeling too well, and I didn't eat very much, but back feeling good now. And yeah, it's always fun playing against these guys, and hopefully I can find a way to get one on them.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Craig Adams on the right wing, moves it into the middle. Shot by Gotch is a glove save by Ward. Good shot there by Marcel Gotch. We had a power play opportunity earlier. The Penguins had a couple of good looks at it, but mostly from the second power play unit. Look at the Penguins' record when they score a power play goal. It's 14-1, 8-8-5 when we do not see a power play goal from the Penguins. And you can see Mike Johnston mentioned the changes in personnel. Those man games lost on the power play. Some key figures have missed games during the course of the stretch where the Penguins have struggled with a man advantage. So it's been a lot of things that have conspired to make the Penguins power play less potent than it needs to be.
Yeah, two of those things he mentioned this morning in his conference this morning, Staggy. He said two key ingredients. That's shots and getting net front presence. And we saw that from the second unit tonight. They had a couple opportunities, nothing from the first unit.
Pouliot dumps it to the corner. Russ gets in after it. Working the corner now, along with Malkin and Crosby. Sid behind the net on the backhand. Centers. Oh, he had Bortuzzo going to the net and went right off his stick. He had the idea, but just couldn't make it happen. Now Gerby down the way. And Gerby lost control of the puck, and Russ takes off the other way for the Penguins. There he goes down that offside again. Loves to use the left side of the ice. Got knocked down just as he wanted to pull the trigger by Victor Rask. And the Canes come back 4-on-2 here. Hainsey moves it right side and right past Rask. He was right there on the doorstep, but he just couldn't take the pass cleanly. So a 4-on-2 goes by the boards for the Canes. And now Brett Belmore sends it back around near side for Hainsey. Two big, tall defensemen. Hainsey gave it away to Kunitz. Kunitz with a shot. Save made, and Sutter can't get to the rebound. Now Skinner carries back for the Canes. Trying to get around Ehrhoff. Riley Nash follows on. He's bumped by Letang, who got the puck free for Kunitz. He just dumps it rink wide, but it'll come right to Jordan, who sends it in behind the net for Nash. He's bumped from behind by Letang. Gets help, though, down there in the corner from Chris Terry. Terry on the wall. Now for Skinner, and he had it knocked off his stick. Murphy dumps it to the corner for Nash. Now for Terry. Chris Terry carries it up the wall, reverses it, but right to Chris Letang, and he'll just flip it back out to center ice. 5:17 remaining in the first period, and the Canes leading 1-0 and a goal by Eric Stahl. Only his third goal in the last 18 games for Carolina. Here's Stahl with it. Skating well, moving into the middle now for Lindholm, and his shot off the stick of Megna over to the far side. Andrew Ebbett got it to center, where the Canes dump it right back into the Penguin zone. Dupre sent it around behind for Scuderi. Right up the middle. Andrew Ebbett with Megna and Farnham. Megna's shot hit a leg. Megna scored his first NHL goal against Carolina. He tries again there, and Ward made the save on the short side. Now Farnham. And Ebbett. Ebbett works it up top. Dupre's shot blocked. Megna was in front. Puck went off the skate to the corner. Ebbett has it again for Dupre. Now for Andrew Ebbett. His shot deflected and went wide of the goal.
Yeah, Farnham got a stick on it.
Farnham again with a shot, and that one blocked, and Farnham looks to the heavens.
Yep.
Nothing quite working, but that was another good shift for the fourth line.
Yeah, with traffic in front again, Megna providing that.
Nothing Hurricanes here in the first, and the Penguins are playing their final game of 2014, and just in case you're wondering, they have done so more often than not on a winning note. At least one game over 500 all time. At home, much better at 8-4-2. So yes, win number 12 will be nice before the clock strikes midnight. And Bobby, I wanted to ask you about playing on New Year's Eve, but I think the only comments you would have would be about a certain game in 1988 when some guy scored 5 goals, 5 different whatever. Yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
Not bad.
I think I called the game with Staggy, too, on New Year's Eve when I was a player, did I not?
Yes, you did, Bob. This is the anniversary of Mario Lemieux's very first hat trick in the NHL. It was actually a 4-goal game in St. Louis And that was back in 85, 86.
Yeah, I was sitting up in the booth with you. I think it was a healthy stretch.
Yeah, I did the game on the radio, play-by-play, because Mike Lang was doing the game for ESPN. Here's Adams now stepping out, trying to jam one in. It's still loose behind the net. And you came up to the booth as a healthy scratch and helped me out. That was the first time we ever worked a game together. I still have the tape of that game, by the way.
My audition tape.
Absolutely. And you were good as a player, and you were only in the league a few years, and you were already good, Bob, at what you do. That's because your dad's a broadcaster. It's in the blood.
He is. Well, the Penguins need to get on the board here. 3:20 left in this period. They haven't got any second opportunities. A shift before the break. As we got a penalty here, possibly too many men on the ice for Pittsburgh as the referee points at the Penguin bench. And let's take a look here.
Pittsburgh penalty, 2 minutes, bench minor for 2 men on the ice.
That's exactly what it is. Too many men on the ice for the Pittsburgh Penguins, so they're going to have to kill off a penalty here. I was just about to say the fourth line got a lot of positive reinforcement after a great shift. And let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a little few too many. Troops are on the ice there.
Second consecutive game that the Penguins have had that happen to them.
Well, the guys coming off the ice got to come off a little quicker, to be honest with you. You know, you got to be smart, yes, jumping on, but you're assuming your guy's going to skate to that bench, make that change. You're trying to get back into play.
Kind of a lack of urgency, I think would be the word I would use there.
Sometimes you're tired, I know, but you know, you just got to keep the legs moving to the bench. Your man's ready to go off. He's trying to time it, if you will, and the referee's not going to give you 20 feet.
Penguins with 2 good clears on the penalty kill, and the Penguins' penalty killing has been tremendous. They've killed 21 of the last 23, 91.3%. So while the power play has struggled, the PK has still been solid. Centering pass picked off beautifully. Letang with it. Letang hangs onto the puck, still has it, and now will skate backwards with it for Adams. And Adams moves it back. Great dragging of the puck here by the Penguins on the penalty kill. Ehrhoff drops it back again. Tremendous keep away here by Pittsburgh. And here they go again, and finally Sutter will dump the puck in.
There's Sutter with 4 shorthanded goals in the calendar year. 5 is tops this year.
Talusti takes the puck. It goes off his stick. Cleared to center. Spalling able to carry into the attacking zone. And he shot it off the stick of Jordan, who goes back to get it in behind the net. Spalling's lost his stick now. He'll skate back. He'll be replaced as he goes to the bench. And on the left wing, it's Talusti. Talusti scored his first NHL goal against the Penguins as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's on the near side, sends it back behind the net, and Scuderi got it up the wall, but it's held in there by Sekera. Now they set it up from the half boards. Stahl with it. Talusti in the slot. Gerby at the side of the net. Cuts in behind the cage. Nathan Gerby, only 5'5", moves it back out to Sekera. Sekera is going to shoot it himself, and it's blocked and then cleared. Good work there in the slot by Marcel Gotch, and he made sure he got it down far enough where the Penguins were able to change.
Rust on the ice. He served the bench minor. He's staying out there with Crosby and Malkin.
The Penguins back at full strength, and Russ on back to the puck on the near side. Less than a minute to go in the period. Penguins would love to get one here before the end of the period. Here's Crosby with it. Crosby tried to pull the trigger, couldn't do so. He was checked. Russ moves it back to the point. Ehrhoff half slapper, and they protected the house nicely, did the Canes, and they come out of that good defensive position to get a good rush up ice. Malk, though, had it poked away, and now the Penguins go back, and it could be a 3-on-1 if they hurry. Canes get back. Here's Crosby in front. Going to the net was Malkin, and he just couldn't connect on the pass. And we'll get a face-off here in the Canes zone. Coming up in the first intermission, presented by your neighborhood Ford store with Robin J. Christian Ehrhoff visits with Dan Potash. Ehrhoff returning after missing 5 games.
Well, it was a good play by Russ to get the puck up to Crosby. Crosby tried to go to Malkin as those two try to collaborate, trying to find chemistry within that line. With all the injuries and illness, the right line is really the right side. The right wingers have really decimated through that position for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Getting Bo Bennett back here tonight certainly helps.
Yes, it does. Bo Bennett with it. Perfect pass to Kunitz. He scores!
Yes, it does certainly help. And Kunitz finding chemistry with Bennett and Ebbett on the faceoff. Take a look. There's a rotation. Winning the battles behind the net. And I love the way they're getting on the defense. Hainsey real quick. And the one play, look at the vision. Absolutely tremendous vision by Bennett down low. As he finds Kunitz in the high slot. And Sutter wasn't out with that unit in that particular time. It was Ebbett. Sutter's out here right now with the fourth line, if you will, Smalling and Adams. A little bit of an adjustment for the Penguin staff.
That's 8 goals in 26 games against Carolina for Kunitz. You've got 18 points in 26 games against this club. And instant offense provided by Bo Bennett. That's what you've been missing with him out of the lineup. Nice to see him back and making a big play before the end of the period. The Penguins have allowed some late goals lately. They get one here to tie the game in 1.
Yeah, and I think the Penguins had the penalty kill, Staggy, so Sutter just needed a little bit of a breather as he was out there for that. Ebbett comes out, they get on that puck, turn it over, and a great release by Kunitz to tie it at 1.
Let's go to Robin Jay.
All right, Staggy, Bob, thanks very much. We always talk about the importance of late goals in a period. And, Jay, when you got a 4-game winless streak, that seems especially big right now.
Yeah, and especially the way they worked. They worked it hard down low. The hard work between Ebbett, and we saw Bennett, and then Kunitz. It wasn't that it was a stop and start. He got there, a quick release, and you mentioned it, Rob. Goals in the last minute or backbreakers for somebody. This should give Pittsburgh certainly a lot of momentum.
Yep, Eric Stahl had scored earlier in the period for Carolina. Chris Kunitz scores for the Penguins. Dan Potash catches up with him. Jay's illustration and more when we return after this. Nice to see the Penguins getting some healthy bodies back in the lineup. Bo Bennett picked up an assist. Christian Ehrhoff back, and Craig Adams as well. Let's go to Steige and Bob now for the call in the second period. Guys?
Thank you very much, Rob. Yeah, the Penguins need to be physical against this Canes team, it appears, Bob, by the way they move the puck pretty quickly out of their own zone.
Yeah, you know, I tell you, a guy like Craig Adams, he missed 5 hockey games, the Penguins Ironman, until that happened, and he didn't miss a beat in that first period. And he did exactly what he always does, go in there, force the puck. He tried to jam one to the net. I thought he was going to get a fortuitous bounce right here. But he was very physical, credited with those 4 hits. So we talked about new additions in the game for the Penguins. There's another one, Craig Adams, who said he was really excited to be at practice at South Point yesterday. He said the rest of the guys were tired because they played the night before. Not him. He was raring to go, and he showed it. Bo Bennett, you talk about raring to go. A guy that's only played 54 games as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins, just trying to stay healthy. And, you know, he had that woe is me going a little bit, Staggy, after the last injury, did Bo Bennett. But I think he's starting to grow up here. He knows if he stays healthy, he can play, and he's hoping that 2015 is just going to be a good year, a new, clean start for him.
Well, Bo Bennett has played only 29 out of a possible 119 games since the start of the 13-14 season. So it's been tough, and when you see the plays he can make, it really kind of makes you really imagine what he could accomplish if he could stay in the lineup every night. I think he could really put up some numbers and become a real force for the Penguins offensively. There's a chance now for Letang down the wing, but offside, a late whistle on the offside call, and they'll drop it at center. We invite you to tweet us at Root Sports Pit using the hashtag PensBooth. Send your comments and questions. Brought to you by Point Park University.
Letang tried to join that rush. Crosby was just offside at that far blue line. Sutter back out here with Kunitz and Bennett. It was Ebbett that was on there for that late first period goal. Sutter had just finished killing a penalty.
Stahl takes the pass from Sekera, but he stripped to the puck, and then the Penguins turn it over. But it still stays with the Penguins because Ehrhoff is back, and he's able to work it ahead to Bennett, who taps it up into the Canes zone. Sekera there. Now it's Stahl turning out of the Kunitz check. Works it across to Sekera. Good forechecking effort here by the Penguins, preventing the Canes from getting out of their own zone. Sekera under siege here, up the wall for Lindholm. Pinching down on him was Ehrhoff. Excellent work by the Penguins in the offensive zone. There's Sutter in good position to keep it alive. For Bennett, Kunitz is in front of the net. Bennett stick handles nicely, tried to pass it through, but the Canes break it up and go the other way, and it's Lindholm on the right wing. And he'll dump it up into the corner. Up until tonight, the only game in which Bo Bennett scored out of the 7 games that he played prior to his last injury was that game in Montreal where he had a goal and 2 assists. In all the other games, he was scoreless, so this is the second time he's actually gotten a point in the assist on the goal by Kunitz. Now back to get the puck in his own zone is Rob Scuderi. And on that fresh ice, it goes all the way back to the corner. Around now for Defray and up the wall. It's an airborne pass. And Russ couldn't take that pass. Now it's dumped right back in behind the net. Malkin tried to dish it to Crosby flying out of the zone. Turned it over. Dwyer in the corner. Malkin goes back and takes it away from him. He gave it to Crosby, and Sid trying to keep it going north there. And he reaches out and taps it up into the offensive zone. Malkin and Rust converge on Hainsey, who did a good job to turn with the puck there and move it out to center. Patrick Dwyer with it. He gains a red line, dumps it in. Fleury was going to come out of the net to play the puck, but it hung up on the boards here. Scuderi to Defray to the right wing and Rust. Nice pass. That's out of Crosby. He moved it quickly, and Sid can't split the D's. At the end of his shift, he'll turn and go to the bench. Defray trying to get it ahead.
Get over that line.
Gotch moves it back to Scuderi. Gains a red line and dumps it in. Gotch gets in after it. Backhands it behind the net for Adams. Spaulding goes to the front of the net. Gotch's shot and a glove save made by Ward. Gotch has taken a couple of good shots in this game.
Yeah, just got to get some traffic in front of Cam Ward. Talk about traffic. Jordan Staal comes back for 1 game. PK Subban falls on the back of his right leg here. Another freak incident. And PK Subban, his skate cut the tendon right on that front of the foot from Staal when he was a member of the Penguins, you can remember, in a playoff series against the Montreal Canadiens. And, well, that was another freak accident right there for Jordan Staal. And they didn't want to take any chances with him. They don't believe it's going to be serious.
Derek Pouliot carries into the Carolina zone and moves into the right wing. Adams fired it wide to the near side. It comes to Spaulding. His shot off a stick in front. And there's Adams right in front of the goal again. Third line of the Penguins effective on the last couple of shifts. Stumped in now by Murphy.
Third line's been good. The fourth line's been good in the hockey game. Ebbett was a part of the second line when the Penguins scored. So you're getting that contribution down through the lineup here so far. And really what you want to see is Crosby and Malkin catch on fire and be the difference in the game.
We need to talk a little bit about the chemistry between those two players, Bob. And if you could maybe give us an idea of what the roles ought to be between those two players, Malkin and Crosby. What kind of definition should they have in terms of their roles, do you think?
Well, Sidney Crosby's the centerman. He's got to help out down low in your own zone. Everything starts from the defensive end. So that has got to happen first. And then through that neutral zone, you let Malkin do his thing, work his magic. He's the X factor out there. So he's going to roam a little bit. Crosby is more the certainty that's going to control things through the middle of the ice. And it's really hard to say who's going to be the shooter, who's their distributor. And I think that's the difficulty with those two guys, because you have to remember, they always want to carry the puck, Staggy. So if you have one of them carrying the puck in that offensive zone, one of the other guys might have to be that net front presence, something they're not overly familiar with. They're getting better at. You got to go to the front of the net to score goals, and one of those two is going to have to do that to create room for the other one. So I think that's what they have to learn moving forward through this game, and if they're going to play together more often.
Coincidental minors. These are the penalties here. It'll be Lindholm and Megna going off. And Bob, I want to ask you one more thing about that. I mean, just a point I want to make here. Remember how Lemieux and Gretzky played together in the Canada Cup? Remember who became the goal scorer between those two? It was Mario. Gretzky set up all the goals, and Mario became a finisher, almost like a winger would be. And he was a winger on that line back in '87.
To me, not surprising at that time where Gretzky was a great passer that way, and Lemieux was able to get and finish those shots. Exactly. I mean, you got to find out. And for Sidney and Crosby and Malkin, it's not that easy, Staggy, because they both can score 50 goals when they have in the league here. Not that Gretzky and Lemieux didn't.
Now here are the Canes controlling the puck, and they move it up top. 4-on-4 hockey. Murphy to Staal to Murphy. Murphy's shot was in his skates. He didn't get a clean shot away. Sutter blocked it. Now here's Ehrhoff with control. Christian Ehrhoff.
He also had a left-right dynamic with Gretzky and Lemieux.
Good point. Very good point. Here's Sutter now closing in. There's something to talk about. Here's Malkin coming to the net, and a shot stopped him. The rebound just pushed away from Letang, who was coming to the net.
Letang has joined the last couple of rushes. Remember, he was just offside to start. Oh, and another good opportunity here as Malkin goes to the front of the cage.
Malkin again looks for the puck. Crosby goes to the front of the net. Gino with it. Drops it off to Sid. Malkin goes to the net as Sid brings it up top. Crosby skating, turning. Malkin's in front. Backhand shot goes right through. Malkin got knocked down. He couldn't get to the rebound. He was there. Malkin again with a drive, and that one went off the crossbar and up into the netting. Boy, Malkin with 3 great scoring opportunities on that shift.
And how appropriate was that? We were just talking about the dynamic. And when one guy's carrying the puck, the other guy's got to be a net front present. Take a look at Malkin. First, he's going to drive the net coming out of the corner like a winger would do from the Supremo. And now look at him establishing that net front presence as Malkin does that right on top of Ward. And Crosby just floats it to the net, Stagey, because he's the puck carrier in that particular moment. And if it's vice versa, Malkin's carrying it around, then Crosby's got to get to the front of the net.
Here's Spaulding behind the net. He tried to go to Bennett in front. And Dupre controls the puck and fires it across the ring for Bennett, who dishes it back in behind the net for Spaulding. Sekera got body position on him. Dupre comes in against Riley Nash, trying to force him off the puck. But Nash controls it in traffic nicely for Skinner. Bennett came over to try to take it away from him. Dupre hustling over. Scuderi as well to make sure the Canes couldn't bring the puck into the attacking zone. Now it's Dupre with it. Moves it up the right wing to Megna out of the penalty box. Both teams at full strength now. Megna falls down as he went in on the forecheck, and the puck comes up the wall. So Riley Nash sends it up through the middle of the ice. Back to get it goes Robert Bortuzzo, and an icing call against Carolina. And the UPMC Sports Medicine Injury Update list has gotten a little shorter, thankfully, on the last day of December.
Downey, he'll be back.
Yep.
Very shortly.
So will Paul Martin.
Yes.
Hornquist and Como, not so much. That's why the return of Bo Bennett is so important. Here's Pouliot with it. Pouliot comes right to the goal. Now he turns behind the cage, turns back out, shoots it, and it's blocked in front.
Oh boy, everybody, Mike Johnson jumping up there. That puck just had to get through. The Penguins have got their defense active. Letang and this ship, Pouliot.
Now it's 2-on-2 as Pouliot comes over against Lindholm. Nice move by him. He shoots it and Fleury to save. And Pouliot sent it behind the net for Malkin. Kenny Malkin carrying that puck through the middle. He finds Rust joining the rush. Rust to Crosby. Crosby looks back. So the Canes take it away, and it's Lindholm coming to center. Joining the rush up the left side, the defenseman, and now it's here Lindholm trying to get it to the front of the net. Hainsey had a chance there to maybe shoot the puck, but he made one more pass, and they never got a shot on goal. Now up the right wing. It's Boychuk. Zach Boychuk in on the forecheck. Dropped it off. And a quick shot by Bellemore. Stopped by Fleury. Sutter. Right in the right spot. Came to the rescue there to clear that rebound away from the right side of Marc-Andre Fleury. Now it's taken by Ehrhoff to Pouliot. To Sutter. He banked it ahead for Rust. Rust has to get off the ice. He's way at the end of his shift here. One of the Canes fell down back in the Carolina zone. He gets back up as the Penguins control. Quick shot by Bennett and a good save by Cam Ward.
Well, Kunitz is in there, and somebody's cut here. Somebody's finger's cut. And he broke his finger. That's exactly what happened. Jordan has broken his finger here after this hit, trying to protect himself on the glass. Jay McClement in the penalty box for hooking. Right there in front as the Penguins are getting to that net, and Sutter was taken down. Boy, the shift before that, Derek Pouliot getting active. He threw one off a skate, Sekera's skate, didn't get through to Cam Ward. The Penguins, they're really pushing for that second goal, and they get a great power play opportunity here. Let's see if they can get shots in traffic.
McClement's a key penalty killer for Carolina, but he's in the box, and they steal the puck right away from the Penguins. They won the draw, Pittsburgh did, but they turn the puck over right away, and the Canes make them go all the way back. So they have to go 200 feet to set up here on the man advantage. They went 0 for 1 with no shots on their first power play chance. Now it's Pouliot, and that's not a clean entry. They'll have to drop it at center ice.
Penguins were better last game when Pouliot carried the puck, and he made all the decisions. Do I pass it? Do I carry it in? And when he was carrying it and making the decisions, the quarterback bringing the puck in, they were tremendous in New Jersey. Their entries were all clean, and tonight in this hockey game they haven't been. Now give Carolina a lot of credit. They're keeping the puck away from Pouliot when they can, and they're pressuring. They're a good penalty killing unit. You mentioned McClement is in the box. He's one of the best in the business at killing penalties.
Letang moves it to Malkin. Malkin can't do anything with it, and it's set right back into the Penguin zone, and now Letang goes back. And the Pouliot deferred to Letang. He carried the puck up that last rush. Now here's Malkin into the attacking zone. Around Hainsey, he pulls up, looks back to the point. Letang to Pouliot, back to Letang. Letang shoots it, and it's off a stick and off the glass. Thought that might go into the netting, but it just hit the glass, and now the Canes come back shorthanded. Lone man back is Letang. This is Dwyer with it. He scored the last time the Canes were at Pittsburgh in their 4-2 win on the 28th. Now it's Kunitz leaving it for Malkin with 51 seconds remaining on this power play. The Penguins get their second unit on. Big hit on the near boards. And Bo Bennett is a solid body check there by Brett Belmore.
Well, he's got no support, Bo Bennett. When he's coming down the ice with speed, he needs somebody there so he can chip it behind the defenseman, or the defenseman has to back up because he can't stand up on Bennett. Now you got two players. Bennett's alone. He's going to, same thing. He needs a guy that where he can chip it by or just make a little play there. Penguins need to have that puck support when they're coming across that line.
Well, the Canes are a good penalty killing team, and they're very good on the road. They're ranked 5th in the NHL on the road.
There's two players right there, 2-on-1, as Sutter chips it in. They're still having trouble, and yeah, they don't give up many goals.
Look out, Victor Rask coming towards the goal. His shot, he just missed on the blocker side of Fleury. Comes off the boards to Spalling. 1 second to go on the penalty. Out of the box comes McClement. Sutter trying to control the puck. Spalling looks for it, but it's Ron Hainsey with it now for Carolina. Scuderi comes flying down the wall, pinching in to try to keep it alive. Scuderi got a stick on the clearing attempt by the Canes, but they are able to come to center. It'll be dumped into the corner by McClement, who heads to the bench. Fleury stops it behind the net for Robert Bortuzzo. Out for Bobby Farnham. Penguins, the fourth line has had some good shifts. This is a combination of Adams, Gotch, and Farnham, none of whom play the power play, of course. They're on the ice right now to try to keep some momentum going for the Penguins. The power play has been sapping them of momentum more than anything else lately. Now here's Bortuzzo up the wall for Craig Adams. No shots on that last power play again for the Penguins. 2 power plays, no shots. Shot sailed high and wide off the glass. On their side, they battle for it. Scuderi goes back there against Skinner. Skinner behind the net on his backhand. Stahl on the ice as well. Skinner center for Lindholm. Reading the play was Farnham to steer the puck back to neutral ice, where the Canes dump it right back into the Penguin zone. Past the halfway mark of the second period. This game tied at 1. Penguins with 16 shots. The Canes have 10. Winding it up is Malkin. Evgeny Malkin down the wing. Throws it across the ice. Letang keeps it inside the zone, but now Brad Malone has it for Carolina. He skates to center ice. And offside is called on the Hurricanes. We'll be back. Penguins and Canes are tied in another low-scoring, tight game for Carolina.
Mike, you've had a couple of power play opportunities in the hockey game so far. Pouliot made a lot of the decisions in the last hockey game. He did an excellent job at that. They seem to have been taking him away a few times on their breakout in the power play.
Yeah, I liked our breakouts last game. I thought it was the best we've had in a while. Tonight I haven't liked them as much. I think we've got to make sure that when we're coming up, we're coming from behind with speed, not too far ahead of the attack.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Bob.
What's he mean by that, Bob?
Come from behind with speed, so when you dump it in, you can retrieve those. And I guess he thinks when the pass is made right now, Staggy, is it's made to the wing, but everybody else is standing still at that blue line. So we saw Bo Bennett. He come, and he was the only guy with speed. He didn't have anybody else supporting him with speed. He wants that sentiment to come and kind of swing that way, and so Bo Bennett has an opportunity. You got to have support. You got to have speed because you listen. They're forcing you to dump it in right now.
Here goes Kunitz. He carries to center ice. Moves it right wing to Bo Bennett. Bennett dangling in front. Oh, right to the net. Kicked out by Cam Ward. Every time Bo Bennett's been on the ice tonight, he's created something. He really has. Here's Belmore with it. An offside call against Carolina. He was trying to feed that puck through for Kunitz. Pirates season is a few months away, but you can get your baseball fix with Pirates Playback. We bring you memorable games from the 2014 season every Monday night this winter. The series starts with last season's opening day win against the Cubs. Pirates Playback Monday at 7 on Root Sports.
Yeah, that last time you did mention he tried to feed it through to Kunitz, and that was a good example of Penguins coming with speed and getting that center drive. That used to be a staple and has to be a staple for any winning hockey team. Center drive, push back the defense so that the puck carrier on the wing has time.
Dupre moves it along now to Gotch. Marcel Gotch playing with more confidence here tonight as he wheels it back into the corner. Adams in on the forecheck with a good hit. And Spalling follows on, kicks it free for Adams. Back to Spalling. Good grinders on the ice right now, and Adams and Spalling on either side of Marcel Gotch. Almost need a goal from one of these guys. Marcel Gotch, the guy who hasn't scored in a long time, 29 games. Hustling over is Gotch, but Canes got there first, and Dwyer got help from Rask to get it to center, and then Dupre cut it off to dump it right back into the Kane zone.
Oh, I love when Simon Dupre turns like that, Steg. He turns his back to everybody, but he's able to turn, get his legs moving. And you kind of told me, he kind of reminded you of Serge Savard there, half a spinorama.
Exactly. Savard, the Savardian spinorama came long before Denis Savard. It was Serge Savard, the big defenseman of the Canadiens, who could wheel with that puck. It's kind of the way Dupre does now. Big guy, too. Here's Russ back to the front of the net off the skate of Evgeny Malkin. Malkin brings it up along the wall and then sends it back down the boards, but he couldn't get it all the way to the corner, and Riley Nash comes to center and dumps it into the Penguin zone. Back to get it, Derek Pouliot. Just tapped it up the wall nicely for Malkin. Pouliot seems to have that awareness of what to do, and now he gets stripped of the puck there, though. And a quick shot is blocked as Terry let it go. Pouliot got it to Malkin, who drops it right back to Crosby. And now for Brian Rust, who's hit on the wall. Not easy to go down the boards against this Canes team tonight. They're making you pay. Yeah, they're making you pay the price.
If you get a center drive, they won't. They'll have to back off and respect that center drive.
Shot to the net by McClement, kicked out by Fleury, and the Penguins storm back. Evatt moves it along to the left side for Magna. Magna's shot and a save by Ward, and right there is Evatt for the rebound. Evatt looks up, penalty coming up against the Canes. Fleury goes to the bench, extra attacker on for Pittsburgh. Ehrhoff with it. Ehrhoff goes to the right side. Sutter is the extra attacker. He came off the bench. Letang forced back to center ice, will control the puck for a little while longer here. Moves it across the ice where it's driven in. Penguins keeping it. A shot by Magna. And Ward made the save, and the whistle finally blows.
Fourth line's been good. They've created momentum for the hockey team, and Bobby Farnham is involved with a lot of things, and I believe drew another penalty here in this situation. Look at him. Look, just gets his feet moving. You better have your motor going. There's the hook, or interference as you want to call it. And there he is trying to draw another penalty. So he's in the middle of everything. Hasn't got a point this year, but maybe his aggression is going to lead to a power play goal. Let's see if the Penguins can get shot and traffic. And the fewest power play goals allowed this season in the National Hockey League. Chicago with only 10. There's Carolina, Minnesota, and Vancouver with 15. And the Penguins have allowed 18 on the season.
Bobby Farnham has drawn 3 penalties the last 2 games. Canes control the puck, and again they shoot it down. The Penguins were 0 for 2 with a man advantage. UPMC Sports Medicine power play. Brad Malone is in the box. And the nephew of former Penguin Greg Malone. Spalling moves it to the right wing. Shot from a sharp angle, and it came leaking through Ward. But no Penguin there to get it as Sutter got a lot on that shot.
My angle, I couldn't see it stay. To go right through the 5-hole and out the other side.
It absolutely did. And now Ward stumbles as the puck goes to the far side. Hainsey try to get it out. Comes right to Riley Nash. And Nash had the puck wander off his stick to the point it comes to Dupre. Second unit on for the Penguins. Bennett works it down low. Oh, Bennett. Back up top for Dupre. The slap shot. Ward kicks it away. Right to Ehrhoff. A couple of guys who can shoot the puck on the points here. And Dupre and Ehrhoff. Here's Bennett, holds it, sends it across. A quick shot, and the save made by Ward on Christian Ehrhoff. Now it's Dupre with it for Ehrhoff again. Ehrhoff straight away to Bennett, penetrates, shoots it, and a blocker save made by Ward. This second unit looking good right now. Here's Bennett with it again, closing in. He tried to move it across. And the Canes take it away.
Defend on the pass, good possession, all over the puck and shooting the puck on Ward. That second unit, yes, looking good.
Here's Crosby with it now, but it's taken away by Hainsey. Crosby ducking out of the way of his clearing attack. And the puck went out of play. And Sid says something to Hainsey there.
Sutter with opportunities. Bennett with opportunities. There's the one that slips through the pads, hits just the back of the left skate of Ward, comes out the other side. Our Super Bowl presented by Allegheny Health Network showed you that one there. Puck almost had eyes. And there Ward eyes up the big Mitsubishi Electric scoreboard here in Pittsburgh. 30 seconds left on the power play. Got to win a face-off. If you don't get on it, get on the puck. Got to get on it quick.
Letang holds it in. There's a skate of Malkin. Back to Letang. To Crosby. Sid passing it for Malkin, and it came through. Quick shot by Kunitz. And that one wide of the goal. Kunitz had a good look there. Here's Letang with it. And Letang dishes it off to Pouliot, to Crosby. Sidney Crosby back to Pouliot. Sid with it. Malkin wants the puck. Sid goes to Pouliot instead. A shot missed the net. And the Canes can't get it out. Penalty's over. Brad Malone was looking for that puck to come to him as he came out of the box, but the Penguins prevent that from happening. And they fail to score again on the power play. But they had some good chances on that one. 4 shots, all delivered, generated by that second unit.
It's coming. It's coming. This power play, they're getting close right now. A lot of, wow. Ward's in trouble right now with bouncing pucks late in this second period. I like the momentum of this. Farnham, Adams, Gotch, they've all been involved in this hockey game.
There goes Adams to Farnham. He dumps it in, tries to get in after it. Ward moves it to the corner. Sekera with a nice little pass to spring the Canes from their own zone. Now Kalusti on the near side. And an offside call here on Carolina. The score remains 1-1. The Penguins have doubled up the Canes in shots, 24-12.
Thank you for spending your New Year's Eve with us here on Root Sports. The Penguins and Canes, not the only teams playing tonight, and some are doing so in style. Take the ECHL's Kalamazoo Wings, who are wearing tuxedo jerseys tonight against Cincinnati. Hey guys, I love the Penguins' third jerseys, but how about Penguins in tuxedo jerseys? I could see it. Or
why
hats.
not? The Penguins are already in tuxedos.
All right, Staggy.
This is the latest start for a New Year's Eve game since 1977. They started at 8:05 back in '77. The Cleveland Barons were the opponent. The Penguins won 6-3. That's how long ago it was. Cleveland Barons are now defunct, of course. They went belly up. Now here's Kunitz on the left wing, back for Ehrhoff, and to the right wing, Bo Bennett trying to drag it to the middle. Bo Bennett trying to backhand it to the net, couldn't do so, and it comes up to the boards, and there's Bennett again, knifing his way in there to get it in behind the net. The Canes get a hold of it, and back they come. On the right wing, it's Lindholm. Elias Lindholm with the cross corner dump.
Yeah, Ebba was out there with Bennett and Kunitz, the same line combination that have combined for the goal in this hockey game. Late in the first period they scored, they were out there late in the second.
Here's Skinner now, he's dangerous. Skinner closing in, shoots it. And he just fired it over the arm of Fleury and over wide of the goal. Dwyer back to the front of the net. The Penguins are there to break that up, and Malkin looks to the right wing for Rust. His shot is saved by Ward. Crosby went in there looking for the rebound. He was interfered with on the way. And now here's Malkin with it to Sid. A shot blocked again. And Sid having words right now with Justin Falk.
Yeah,
He's the man who blocked the shot. He also interfered with Sid.
Right the blue line, Staggy. Sid was trying to hold that blue line to stay on side for Rust, and Falk kind of got his leg in on Sid's leg as he had it extended. He didn't like that at all.
Now Dupre goes back for the puck in his own zone on an icing call against Carolina.
Well, let's take a look. Justin Falk, he's got 20 points. Came in tied with Stahl for the point lead. But watch, Crosby's going to try to stay on line. Falk comes across, and they get tied up a little bit. Wasn't much. And Crosby took exception to that.
Well, Sid gets a lot of bumps and a lot of interference against him away from the puck. We saw it early in the game when Eric Stahl was doing it. And it just comes with the territory of being Sidney Crosby. He's got to fight through a lot of stuff that of it is let go. It's not
That's
like
what Ovechkin said, Staggy. They asked him the other day. He said, well, he just came off the mumps, and and every night, people, well, look out. People have to remember he's going against the top players in the National Hockey every night. Their top centerman, the top defensive pair, and they're hoping that with Malkin on that line, they can free up Crosby a little bit here.
Dupre backhands it out. I mean, you remember Mario Lemieux back in the days of shadowing, beat up people literally up and underneath his uniform, just draped all over him, all the way up and down the ice. He could carry a man with him the whole game. Not quite that bad, but there still is a lot of interference that is allowed, if you will, and when players are doing their best to defend against Sidney Crosby. Can't call everything. Here's Pouliot with it now over to Bortuzzo, and his lead pass eludes everybody up into the Carolina zone. And it is going to be an icing infraction against Pittsburgh. Day Automotive brings you a great day for hockey. Sidney Crosby with an overtime goal to beat the Rangers on this day back in 2005. Crosby's first season. Overtime winner on New Year's Eve. Maybe he'll get one tonight. Battle for the puck on the wall. The Penguins, Spalling trying to get it out on the left wing boards along with Sutter. They work it to neutral ice. Spalling kicks it ahead. And a lot of work here in the trenches to try to get a hold of the puck. Finally, it's the Canes' Eric Stahl dishing it up into the corner. Lindholm goes in along to Bortuzzo. He shuffled it along the end boards. Lindholm keeps working to Stahl. Eric Stahl in the corner. Elias Lindholm comes off the wall. Try to get it to the net. Right there is Toulouse. Fleury robs him blind. Fleury got over before Toulouse could pull the trigger, and he was there to make the save.
That's a game saver.
Back in front, Sutter looks to the puck. Toulouse can't get it, and there's the horn ending the second period, but not before the Flower made a show-stopping save again on Jiri Toulouse.
Well, yeah, he rang in the new year with this one. This is a 10-bell save right there with 13 seconds left in the second period, a period that was dominated by the Pittsburgh Penguins, but if that one goes in, who knows? All even going to the third.
Let's go to Robin Jay.
And talk about not necessarily how many saves you make, but when you make them, and that was a big one for Marc-Andre Fleury and the Penguins in a period that the Penguins really dominated.
Yeah, sometimes your goaltender, 12 shots up to that point, they'd rather have more action, a little bit more, and then if he called on like that, he came up with a big save. If the puck's bouncing around, sometimes the goaltender on the other end's playing good, they're hitting posts, then you come back and there's one little hiccup, and the puck might end up in the back of your net, but Marc-Andre Fleury, big save, and Pittsburgh needed it.
After 40 minutes, still tied at 1 apiece. Coming up next, Dan Potash will catch up with Christian Ehrhoff. Jay's going to illustrate his thoughts on the third period in a tie game, all coming up next. The Penguins are trying to wrap up 2014 and put an end to their season-high 4-game winless streak here tonight. They're tied with Carolina at 1 after 2 periods of play. If you're just joining us, here's what you've missed.
Canes come to center. Toulouse goes to the net. Centering pass. Stole a shot. He scores. Fleury wasn't sure where the puck was there. He was moving in the paint.
Penguins getting Bo Bennett back here tonight certainly helps.
Yes, it does. Bo Bennett with it. Perfect pass to Kunitz. He scores! Here's Sutter now closing in. There's something to talk about. Here's Malkin coming to the net, and a shot stopped, and the rebound just pushed away. Eric Stahl in the corner. Elias Lindholm comes off the wall. Try to get it to the net. Right there is Toulouse. Fleury robs him blind. So Marc-Andre Fleury saving the day there before the end of the period, Bob.
Yeah, Toulouse leads the Canes in goals. He's got 10. He's been injured, back in the lineup. Had that great chance, and you remember Cam Ward made a dazzling save against Blake Como November 28th when these two teams met. That one there with the wide open cage, and Cam Ward was able to use his big paddle to knock it down. This is the one tonight. Marc-Andre Fleury using that glove and really getting out high to meet almost the stick of Toulouse. So a battle between two Canadian netminers.
And the game tied going to the third period. The Penguins had 17 shots on Cam Ward in that second period. And he was outstanding.
Well, he's been way better this year than he was last year. I mean, the team struggled in front of him. His save percentage way better this year.
Penguins are 6-1 when tied. After two, there's a shot to the net. And now
really dominated that second period stay. I expect a bigger push here from the Canes. Look at it.
Stahl shoots it off the stick of Fleury to Bellemore. His drive high and wide off the glass. Held in by Hainsey. And picked up now by Ehrhoff. Christian Ehrhoff skating with confidence, but the puck went to no man's land there for a moment. Now Sutter tries to get a hold of it, but Eric Stahl turns back at his own line. The Penguins are changing. Stahl takes advantage of the ice that's available. Tried to shoot it. Malkin got in there and interrupted the shot, and then Dwyer fed it in behind the net. Letang ends up with it. Stahl was rubbed out on the play. Is he all right?
No, not really. He really got pinned in there by Ehrhoff. He was in a position, and Ehrhoff kind of put his face and body into the glass.
Is Ehrhoff going to be penalized?
Yes, he is going to be penalized. As Stahl really was looking around trying to make a play and looking in his feet, and there's the shot right off the partition. You can see his head hit that silver partition, Staggy, where the glass goes into, and that really was, his head took a lot of that impact. So a boarding call against Ehrhoff and a big face-off for Gotch.
Big penalty killing situation for the Penguins. And the fans in the building seeing that penalty on the big board do not agree with the call, but Ehrhoff's in the box. And the Canes with an early opportunity in the third period to retake the lead. They scored the first goal in this game. Eric Stahl getting it at 9:12 of the first period. They're 0 for 1 on the power play tonight. They registered 0 shots on their first chance. Riley Nash moves it to Falk. He's dangerous from the right point. Justin Falk shot off the goalpost. And it comes all the way back into the Canes zone on that fresh ice.
Skinner's hurt. He's getting himself back to the bench gingerly. Adams went out and knocked him down right at the blue line there.
Falk drives it in. Fleury can't stop it. It was up off the glass. Spalling to try to get to it, and it's cleared by Bortuzzo. He didn't get it out, though. Falk with a good play to keep it in for Stahl. Stahl, Talusti, and Gerby on the ice. Gerby's right in front of the net. And a centering pass by Stahl. Gerby couldn't find it, and it's cleared by the Penguins. Brandon Sutter getting it all the way down the ice.
No, Gerby can't find it at his feet. Nobody can. He was right there on top of Marc-Andre Fleury, and boy, he's been a big, imposing figure, as a matter of fact, on the power play for the Canes. I say that he's only scored 3 goals, but he's always looking very strong in front of the net against the Penguins.
Jordan and Sekera at the points now. Sekera fakes the shot, turns, faced by Adams and Gotch, who killed the penalty with Dupre and Letang. Stahl centers, Letang right there to break it up. Letang's going to carry the puck. He bumped into his teammate, Greg Adams. He's going to shake it up. Here's Letang to the goal. Oh, and he crashes into the goal post.
And he looked over his shoulder. He asked Cam Ward if he was okay. He shoved Adams right out of the way in his own zone, Staggy, just so he could go end-to-end short-handed.
Yeah, and Adams appeared to not be expecting it. It was bumped and looked like he had been shaken up just a bit as he went over to the bench. Now Malkin gets knocked down over there in front of the Penguins bench.
Wow, Chris Letang from his own zone just took charge. Talk about fresh legs. Get out of the way, I'm taking this. And he went end to end. He took it right to the net, and he got pushed in a little bit to Cam Ward. Cam Ward had nowhere to go there. He had to hold his ground. The shot just went wide, and looks like the two of them are okay.
Amazing.
Short-handed. You don't see many defensemen try that.
Scuderi sends it all the way down the ice. You don't see many defensemen who can do that, do you, Bob?
No.
Maybe in the history of the whole game.
I know, it's ridiculous. Remarkable there.
Here's McClement with it shooting, and Fleury, a nifty glove save there, and he holds on for a face-off. On the latest edition of Inside Penguins Hockey, visit Paul Martin's hometown. Find out why he almost didn't play hockey. Head to Toronto to see some hidden Penguins artifacts at the Hockey Hall of Fame Resource Center and much more. That's tonight after postgame on Root Sports.
Big save at the end of the second for Fleury. Penguins kill a penalty here to start the third. An Ehrhoff penalty, and now a chance to go back 5-on-5 and get the lead.
Look out. Terry with it down the wing, a 2-on-1. Passes it across, and Fleury again with a sprawling save. He stopped Talusti coming to the goal. And that's the second. Or was that McClement? That was McClement he robbed coming to the net. So Fleury with another fantastic save there on a 2-on-1.
Well, the Penguins turned it over in the neutral zone. Canes come 2-on-1, and Fleury sliding across, stacking the pads, getting the glove up. Oh man, if that doesn't look like Gilles Meloche, what does? That was fantastic stuff, an old-time save there. Fleury coming across, stacking the yellow pads. No, that was a spectacular save by Marc-Andre Fleury. It really was. You don't want that pass to come across. It did. And McClement, it's a knuckler. Almost hit him right in that armpit area. Wow. Really good stuff there for Marc-Andre Fleury.
You saw the puck fluttering, and McClement could get very little on it, but that almost made it even more dangerous in a way.
Yeah, coming across the grain like that.
Now here's Kunitz with it. Back to Ehrhoff, and he guns it wide of the goal. Letang pinches to keep it alive. Back into Bennett. Bennett's shot. That hit a man in front. Kunitz tried to pass it across. He fanned on it. Dumps it back into the corner for Sutter. Over to play it now is Kunitz. Sutter brings it up the boards, and he was just challenged there by Jeff Skinner, and unable to maintain possession. So back into the Penguins zone it goes with lots of time left in this game. Just over the 4-minute mark of the third period. Here's Ehrhoff, going to do it himself. He shoots it, and a glove save made by Cam Ward.
Staggy, congratulations! Proud Grandpa Braden Robert Staggerwald.
Look at the Penguins uniform he's wearing, Bob. Thank you very much.
That is awesome stuff.
Yeah, there it is.
Staggerwald.
He's wearing a onesie that was given to my son Dylan. Mother Chelsea doing well, and we thank you very much. It's a real blessing to have a new member of the Steigerwald family. We appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations. Go all.
And he'll be wearing skates within a couple of weeks. And there's Dupre wheeling that puck up into the Kane zone. And an icing call.
Well, maybe I should have said Michel Dion. I looked across in the building here today after Fleury made the save, and I saw a guy in a Michel Dion mask. I'm still looking across right at the blue line here. Look at this, Staggy. This is unbelievable stuff. That is awesome.
That definitely is a Michel Dion mask, too. That's exactly what he wore. Yep. Back in the 81-82 season, he had a tremendous run in the playoffs in 82 for the Penguins.
I saw a guy in Montreal outside the bus, if you remember, wearing a mask like that.
I remember that. I wonder, where are they getting these things? That is the authentic Michel Dion mask. Here's Crosby with it now, and he'll just flip it up into the Kane zone. Now it's Nathan Gerby gaining the red line and dumping it into the Penguins' end of the rink. Back to get it goes Dupre, and up the wall now for Megna. Challenged there by Rask. And Megna takes off with the puck. He hung on to it. Ahead now to Gotch. He banks it ahead for Spalling. Megna follows on. Now it is Gotch with it. Try to get it back to the net. It was blocked by Talusti. Yuri Talusti into the Penguin zone. Long shot steered away by Fleury to the corner. Back to the point. Belmore with a drive. Megna got a stick on that. Gotch has it again. Gotch ahead to Jason Megna. Belmore takes him out on the wall. And the Canes have possession. Terry sent it back in behind the net. Hainsey, long pass up the middle for Talusti off his stick. Turning with it now is Derek Pouliot. Nice pass to Bo Bennett. And Bennett winds it up now for the Penguins. Here comes Bo Bennett to the right wing, and Kunitz. Kunitz looks across the ice. Sutter with it. Back to Ehrhoff. Now to Letang, and his shot off a leg comes right to Sutter. Back up top, it goes to Ehrhoff. Letang, a wrister, off a stick. Kunitz went down in front of the net. And Sutter over to get the puck before it left the zone. Hung up on the wall by Malone. Bennett works there and along the boards trying to get the puck. It ends up coming to Kunitz. Chris Kunitz moves it back to the blue line. It stayed in somehow. Ehrhoff sends it down the wall for Bennett. Back to Ehrhoff. His shot. And Ward came out to challenge to make sure he got that glove out there so Letang couldn't tip it in. And now we got a penalty coming up.
It's going to be a slash against the Penguins after Letang redirected an Ehrhoff shot. Wow. Kunitz is going to the box. But look at the effort getting to the front of the net with a tip as he's dragged down. Now, Chris Kunitz has had one whale of a game here so far. But Jordan has taken a beating. Took a slash there. And Supermo showing you that. But Kunitz as he went into the corner. Earlier, Jordan was thrust into the wall by Kunitz, and he fell down on his finger and dislocated that. And took a look at that as he came to the bench in the first period. So Penguins have to kill another power play here for the Canes.
Canes are 0 for 2 with a man advantage. They win the draw, and the shot fired high and wide by Rask. Canes able to keep it alive to the goal. Shot. Oh, Spurry makes another tremendous save on Elias Lindholm. And he had all night to put on every move he had in his repertoire, and Fleury stayed with him, let him make the first move, and then made a great glove save on Elias Lindholm.
I tell you, Gary Agnew is beside himself right now on the Penguins bench. The Penguins didn't clear that puck. And he went up and down that bench, and he had an earful for every one of the Penguins, Staggy. I'm telling you, Gary Agnew almost blew his top there as that puck was turned the other way. And the Penguins defense were going up ice the wrong way. The puck was not out. And you can't allow guys behind you like that. The puck's got to go out, number one. And Marc-Andre Fleury shouldn't have to be making that save right there.
Lindholm robbed again. Wow. And that time, he really had a lot of time, didn't he?
Well, he did. I mean, he tried to stop, tried to go back to the forehand, but you see how Marc-Andre Fleury did not fight. He doesn't make the first move. He's right there to really stay with the puck and allow Lindholm to make that move and then be there with the glove hand on that post. Just a really solid save by Marc-Andre Fleury. He's been less active, tighter in that net, and another game saver here.
Only 17 shots for the Canes, but man, have they had some glorious scoring opportunities.
I've never seen Gary Agnew like that. I tell you, Staggy, he went up and down that bench about halfway as far as he could go, and he was very verbal there, and he had had enough.
He's got a booming deep voice, so I'm sure they heard him well. And over the line comes Ryan Murphy. He's hit hard over there on the far side by Ehrhoff, who's got the puck out to center. Back to get it goes Sekera. 26 seconds remaining on the penalty to Chris Kunitz. Fleury has stopped Zalusti, Clement, and now Elias Lindholm. Great scoring opportunities here since late in the second period.
No, good clear there by Gotch, using the center of that ice, that open area from behind the goal line to clear that puck, and that's going to do it for the power play. A couple ticks left.
Going to the net is Riley Nash. The shot taken is gloved by Fleury, and he will hang on to it for a face-off in the Penguin zone.
There it is. 1988, Staggy. 5 goals, 5 ways. And the final one into the empty cage. Jay Caulfield, our own Root Sports Jay Caulfield, picking it out of the net.
Wow, somebody actually has a ticket to that game. Look at that.
Wow, that's awesome.
2:30 in the afternoon. Fleury gloves that shot from the right point by Falk and holds onto it.
It wasn't that easy. There was traffic. It actually looked like it grazed a jersey of a Kane as it went to the net, that Falk blast. Falk came in with 20 points, tied with Eric Stahl, the team lead. Stahl scored here in this one, giving him 21 points on the season.
Dupre behind the net for Pouliot. Crosby knocked off his skates by McClement. Rust pokes it right to the feet of Cam Ward, and he freezes it. Malkin takes a shot after the whistle from Justin Falk.
Sid can't believe it. Just a slight head shake, and he'll just keep playing here. Did he come from behind? You talk about coming from behind on a play. The puck came up the wall to Rust in the Penguin zone, then to Malkin. And watch Sidney Crosby. That's the speed. And he gets that puck, and he's going right around McClement. and McClement takes him, kind of low bridges him with his body as he's going around. But that's great speed. That's an example of coming from behind by Sidney Crosby.
Here's Rust with it, trying to drive to the net, and Ward makes a save on Brian Rust. A couple of good opportunities for Rust on that shift. And now Gerby drives it long to the net, and Fleury stops it, just wrists it back up high. Rust gloved it down. Malkin taps it along for Crosby. Sid tried to dump it behind the defense, couldn't do so. And the Canes go the other way, and it's Rask with it. Got a man driving to the net. Talusi leaves it for Gerby, who fanned on his shot. Dupre went down. He gets back up as the puck is handled by Scuderi. And now it's Malkin taking off with it.
Yeah, good reach by Simon Dupre there to take the puck off Gerby. Stand up after Crosby had been stood up at the far blue line.
Andrew Ebbett carries into the attacking zone. He's knocked down. Malkin stays on the ice. His line mates have left. Bo Bennett trying to center it. Now look out. Puck went off a leg and came conveniently to the Canes' Lindholm, who dumps it into the Penguin zone. Fleury out of the net. Clears it around for Kunitz. Back out in front of the net and cleared away by Letang, and taken by Hainsey at center. Halfway point of the third period. Only 2 goals in this game. The Canes have lost 6 games this year by 2-1 scores. And there have been a couple of others that had empty netters involved that made it 3-1, including the last game they played against Montreal. And they've lost 2 by 1-0 scores and 3 by 3-2 scores. 11 one-goal losses for the Canes this year. Centering pass, poked wide by Jordan. And picked up now by Bo Bennett. Here's Letang coming to center, into the Canes zone. He'll dump it in and go to the bench. Murphy goes back to play, hit hard by Kunitz, who's really been handing out the checks for tonight. Here's a shot by Adams and a good save by Cam Ward with the right pad. This has been a good goaltending duel here tonight. Now it's Malone. He's hit by Adams. Riley Nash had a stick on it. And skating it out of his own zone was Gotch. Into the middle now, trying to feed it along for Pouliot. He had it knocked away from him, back to Bortuzzo, up the right wing wall, and handled down by Sekera.
Boy, how about the physicality of one Chris Kunitz in this hockey game, and another great feed to Adams, who almost put the Penguins in front, finding that soft spot in the high area, in that slot area in the offensive zone. The Penguins trying to turn the tide here. No!
Canes send it back up into the Penguin zone. Back to get it goes Dupre, and an icing call against Carolina.
Boy, you just have to love that physical play of Chris Kunitz, putting out the Ritz there on playing with Bennett, playing with Sutter. Sutter's look good in the hockey game. Here's the hit on Murphy. That one hurt. That one hurt. You got to know it did. There he is, another hit. Then he separates man from puck. I mean, great stuff.
Now taken by Rask in his own zone. Craig Adams has 7 hits tonight. Here's Russ with a shot. And he hit the goalpost. Cleared by Cam Ward to the corner. Ryan Rust has been an effective player here in the third period on this line with Malkin and Crosby. Here's Rask. Kunitz has 4 hits in this game. This sounds like a low number to me. He had 2 on that last sequence. Here's Rust coming to center, and he'll dump it to the corner. Belmore goes back to get it. Belmore sent it up the right wing wall. Canes hanging in there. Here's Stahl down the wing. Stahl shoots, and Fleury the save. Fleury just looks like he refuses to allow another goal. Here's Sutter up the wing. He's got Bo Bennett with him. Brandon Sutter, right side of the pad. Ward sprawling to make the save with his left pad. So another 2-pad stack. Here's a shot by Ehrhoff, and Ward the save. The rebound, Bennett can't get it in the net. As Ward scrambled back and had some help in front of him from Justin Falk, I believe, or Belmore, to block that shot by Bo Bennett. Now it is Letang. Turned the puck over there, but Penguins have people back. Still, though, here come the Canes on the rush. That shot just flipped the equipment of Fleury there. Good release there down the right wing by Riley Nash.
It was change the angle, use the defense as a screen, so chances at both ends right now.
Now Kunitz with it. He'll feed it up into the Canes zone with 7 minutes to go in the third period of the game, tied at 1. Pouliot, 20-year-old defenseman for the Penguins, comes to center, shoots it long off the glass. The crowd feeling the intensity in this game, trying to help the Penguins here. Here's Megna with it now in the corner, behind the net. Solid body checking there on Gotch by Riley Nash. With Megna control. Stutter step move, brings it up high. Pouliot shot, deflected wide of the goal. Near side is Bortuzzo. He looks in front. Instead it goes behind the net, picked up now by Yuri Tlusty. He hops out of his own zone. Makes a nice move to get around Smalling. Runs out of room though at center ice as Bortuzzo closed the gap on him. And now Tlusty staying with it. Dumps it to the Penguin zone of Pouliot. Moves it up the right side to his partner, Robert Bortuzzo. Into the middle now for Malkin. Malkin to Crosby, a shot! And it's blocked there by Sekera. Sends the puck into the netting behind the goal.
I love the crisscross there, and I love the Penguins driving the net. Ward. Bellemare making the save to help him. 22 Carolina shots so far in the hockey game. He's turned aside 21 of the Marc-Andre Fleury. At the end of the second period, Tlusty with 13 seconds left. Start of the third. That save on McClement. And then Lindholm on a breakaway. The glove hand comes out again for Marc-Andre Fleury. Trying to finish off this year in winning fashion.
Looking for his 20th win. He's been stuck on that now for 4 games. Ehrhoff with a blast, and Ward makes the save with a left pad. Boy, can he shoot it. Christian Ehrhoff. Now Stahl moves it right side. Dumped into the corner. Malkin, nice little pass to Crosby. He takes off. Over to confront him is Lindholm, and he dumps it behind Falk. Out of the net comes Ward to clear it, but Letang held it in on the near side. Rust crashes in there trying to get a hold of it. Rust has it to Malkin. Malkin settles it down and pulls the trigger just wide of the goal. Crosby comes up with it. Back for Gino. Malkin turning in tight quarters, but he lost control of it, and Lindholm goes ahead the other way. Ehrhoff's got to get back. Ehrhoff over to confront him with a beautiful sweep check on Lindholm, who was tired. He needed to turn and go to the bench. Crosby's not tired. He wants to lug it. Moves it right side, but he's going to have to go to the bench too as Letang dumps it into the Kane zone. 5 minutes to go in the third period. The game tied at 1. Victor Rask, the rookie, moves it to the right side, and the shot is blocked. Tlusty into the corner to play it. Send it up the wall off the stick of Kunitz. Jordan with it. He risks it on deep. And Dupre over to get it now. He hauls it in and banks it off the boards to center. With the help of Bo Bennett. And it's Jordan ahead for Rask. Trying to get it deep, couldn't do so. And Kunitz has it now. Kunitz trying to pass for Bo Bennett. It eludes him and goes up into the Kane zone, and it's an icing call against Pittsburgh.
May use a timeout here. We got some tired bodies on the ice. Our Subway sandwich of the game. Well, that's just one of 7 hits for Adams. That one on Boychuk as he goes down. Yes, so Adams and Kunitz throwing around the checks like it's the end of the month. A little bonus. End of the year bonus.
Here's Dupre behind the net. Up the wall for Kunitz. Trying to steer it out. Now he just pushes it out. Nash back to Bellemare. Right up the middle, off the skate of Bortuzzo, and Sutter drops it back. Pouliot with it. Sutter moves it ahead where Spallings dumps it behind the goal. Ward moves it to Hainsey. Nash dumps it to Terry, to Dwyer to the goal, and a save made by Fleury on Patrick Dwyer, and a great chance for the Canes off the rush. Wow.
Almost got under the pads of Fleury. Those pads tight to the ice. Not a lot on that shot, but a great opportunity. Penguins turn it over at the far blue line again, and that's where you can't turn it over there. That's tough because you got the defenseman going north, and you can't turn south on a dime.
And that was Pouliot, the defenseman, who turned it over. He was stripped to the puck by Stahl. Gotch with a shot. Left save made. Gotch trying to get to the rebound, but Johnny on the spot was Sekera, and he brings it up the near wall. Can't get it out. Good work by Gotch to stay on him. Now Gotch turns and heads to the bench. As the puck slides back into the Penguin zone, Fleury out of the net wants to just hand it off. I thought he might hurry the play along there, but he just took it, gave it to Letang. Now Rust into the middle for Crosby. Sidney Crosby turns and looks back. Gotta be careful here. He finds Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff across the ice now for Letang. Rust is in front. He jams at it twice, and Ward made a save on the first chance. Now Rust again with the puck. Ryan Rust playing well here in the third period. To Letang, now for Malkin. Looking for a redirect, and it didn't happen. Rust again. Outworks Sekera for the puck. Rust brings it up high. Banks it off the boards. Pretty pass there to Crosby. Back to Rust. The shot. Big save by Ward on Brian Rust. And both goaltenders just refused to allow that next goal.
Yeah, that was a huge save. Rust was going against the grain. He had Ward guessing, but he just hit his pad. Couldn't find the fly ball. He slams the door as he comes to the bench.
Good chemistry between Rust, Malkin, and Crosby here in the third period. There's Malkin dropping it off. Crosby again, stick handling beautifully. Stops up. He finds his man. Skenaria drive, deflected wide of the goal.
Oh, just could not hit the massive bodies in front. Bellemore and Malkin in front. The Skenaria shot.
Penguins are coming on with a surge here late in the game, looking to get the go-ahead goal. Here's Sutter with a tippet trying to come to the net. Poke check. The play with a blast. He missed it up by 5 feet. It comes out to the point, and Skenaria back in behind the net. Sutter lassos the puck behind the goal. Brings it up top. Finds Dupre. Wrist shot this time. Off the stick of Kunitz. And Bo Bennett out the center a shot. He scores!
Well, you could feel it coming. It was building. And Carolina, they just couldn't match what the Penguins were bringing. And they were bringing passion on the puck, intensity, and they were bringing an ex-Kane to finish it off. Looked like it went off. Bellemore, I believe, tried to block that shot. Not sure if he got a piece of it or not. Ward reacted late as it went blocker side. He was down in the butterfly position, but the Penguins shift after shift. Wow. Cam Ward made a couple of 10-bell saves. You mentioned it. He stopped Rust 20 seconds before, and he must have been exhausted, Staggy. You just think about the work that he has put in the hockey game. He just couldn't settle himself as the Penguins for 2 straight minutes kept the puck in the Kane zone.
The 39th shot of the game finds the back of the net after the hit of Kane in front. Ward couldn't stop that one, and that's usually the case. Pucks that are deflected, goalies when they're screened. That one found its way in to give the Penguins a 1-goal lead here with still 1:10 to go, and the Canes are going to want to get Ward out of the net. And you could feel the surge coming, couldn't you? Here's Stahl now over the line. Moves it right side, and a quick shot. Flurry the save.
That's empty.
Ward has gone to the net. The extra attacker is on. Sekera throws it to the slot. Stahl is there. There's a shot by Rask, and that's blocked in front by Chris Letang, who had it caught up in his equipment, and Rask trying to move it to the point. He does to Falk. Look out here. Lots of traffic in front. Falk shot, and it's deflected away from the net. Skinner was there. Now the puck is
hand pass outside.
Hand pass, yep. And they're going to bring it outside with 41.5 seconds remaining. Sutter from Bennett and Kunitz.
Yeah, the referee's asking if the Canes want the timeout. And we'll see if they're going to get it or not. Yep. So it will be a Carolina timeout here right now. And Rod Brind'Amour is usually a man in charge of drawing something up for Carolina. There's Rod Brind'Amour. Let's take one more look at the Sutter goal. Brandon Sutter has scored big goal after big goal for the Penguins since they acquired him. Yes, you can see it just clipped the pad of the defender Bellemore, who went down. Just clipped him above the knee, just enough to change and elevate that puck by the goaltender Cam Ward.
Talking to Eric Stahl today, he said we just can't get that next goal. We're always on the wrong side of these 1-goal games. If the Penguins hang on, they'll drop to 4, 12, and 4 in 1-goal games. It'll be their 7th 2-1 loss unless the Penguins can get an empty netter. And that is empty down to our right.
Well, let's not forget, and I know we won't, the saves that Marc-Andre Fleury made on Talusti, McClement, Lindholm to give the Penguins a chance to put the 2nd goal on the board.
He made another one too here not too long ago against, was it Rask coming to the net? Another good chance that they had. Now Sekera, they won the draw there. That's a big face-off win there in the neutral zone. So they're able to get into the Penguins zone, and shot by Skinner. Puck is poked behind the net. Crosby sent it up the wall. Rask, the Falk, a drive, just missed the net. Letang banks it off the boards, didn't get it out. Sekera back to the goal, and that hit something in front. Now Malkin gets it. Bennett's up ice. He wants the puck to try to shoot for the empty net. He's cut off over there on the far side by Rask. 14 seconds to go in the game. Malkin trying to steal the puck. Crosby as well. The Canes come into the Penguin zone, though, with 8 seconds to go. Skinner trying to get around Ehrhoff. He pushed it in behind the net to the corner. Reverse hit there by Stahl. And he centered the puck, and time expires. The Penguins win it by a score of 2-1. Brandon Sutter is our McDonald's player of the game. The former Hurricane haunts the club that used to pay his wages and delivers the game-winning goal.
Yeah.
Late at 18-18, no less.
And it would never have happened without that man right there. He stacked the pads. He did whatever he could with that yellow glove, and Carolina will be seeing yellow into the new year. And for the Penguins, they'll be able to celebrate. He's got 20 wins on the season, Marc-Andre Fleury.
We'll return in a moment. Big win for the Penguins on the final game of December and of 2014, 2-1.